Every day when he came back from work, he was very tired. No matter how hard his shift was, he always made sure to come home with something. He would come home with a box of donuts, some alcohol, a new TV, or even just groceries. He worked overtime every day, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. He had no other choice. If he wanted to pay for all the expensive gifts he bought for his wife. She had no idea that her husband had actually lost his main job months ago. He didn't tell her anything. Instead, he found another job where he worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. All this so that she wouldn't find out that he was unemployed. Even though he loved her more than anything in the world, he was too scared to admit that he was no longer able to provide for her. It had been a really tough time for them since he lost his job. They had to sell their 2 cars and most of their furniture just to make ends meet. But still, he didn't want his wife to know. He knew that it would break her heart if she found out. He was a successful man who worked as a lawyer at a big firm. They had a nice house and 2 brand new cars. He had everything that he ever wanted. And then suddenly he lost it all. One day the boss called him into his office and fired him. "You're fired." Those words were like a knife through his heart. He tried to argue with the boss. But it was no use. He packed up his things and left the office. He didn't tell his wife anything about it. He didn't want her to worry. Instead, he told her that he was going to be working late at the office every day for the next few weeks. She believed him. She thought that he was just working hard to get that promotion he was after. But the truth was far from it. He was desperately trying to find another job, any job, but there were no jobs to be found. He searched and searched, but all he found was a small construction company that needed some extra hands. He took the job, even though it paid less than his secretary did. He was desperate and proud at the same time. He couldn't bear the thought of his wife finding out that he was working as a manual laborer. He was too proud for that. So he kept looking for another job while working at the construction site. Eventually he found another company that needed someone with his skills. This one paid better than the last. But the problem was that he had to work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. It was hard work, but he didn't care. All that mattered was that he could continue providing for his wife. He didn't want her to ever know how much he struggled to provide for her. He wanted to keep her happy, even if it meant that he had to sacrifice his own happiness. He never told her that he was working 2 jobs. Instead, he came up with a lie that she deserved the truth. One day he came home with a box of donuts and some alcohol. He said to his wife, "I'm so sorry I haven't been able to buy you these things before, but I've been working overtime and now I have some extra money." She believed him. She didn't know that he was lying through his teeth. He continued working overtime until he could afford to buy her a new TV. It was an expensive one, but he didn't care. He wanted to see the joy on her face when she opened the box. He had been missing that joy lately and he needed it back in his life. He also bought her some flowers and a bottle of wine. He wanted to make her feel special, like she was the only woman in the world. That's what he had done before they got married and he wasn't going to stop now. But as the years went by, he grew more and more tired. He couldn't take it anymore. One day he came home and collapsed on the couch. His wife was worried sick. She asked him what was wrong, but he didn't answer. He just looked at her and said, "I love you." Then he closed his eyes and fell asleep. She was shocked. She had never seen him so tired before. She didn't know what to do. He woke up the next morning feeling refreshed and full of energy. He didn't look tired at all, but his wife knew that he was hiding something from her. She could tell by the way he was acting. He was distant and cold, but she didn't push him. She respected him too much. One day she decided to follow him. She wanted to find out what he was up to. She saw him drive to the construction site. She didn't recognize the place. She had no idea that he had been working there as well. She followed him home and waited for him to fall asleep. Then she went through his phone and found out the truth. He was working 2 jobs. She was shocked. She didn't know what to do. She confronted him, but he didn't tell her anything. He just kept lying to her face. She was heartbroken. She didn't know what to do. Should she leave him? Would he be able to provide for himself? What about their future? She couldn't decide. Meanwhile, he was getting more and more tired. He couldn't take it anymore. He told her everything. He told her about the day he lost his job, about how he was too proud to admit it, and about how he was working 2 jobs to provide for her. She was shocked. She had no idea that he was going through all of this for her. She felt bad for him. They talked for hours. He told her everything that had been on his mind for months. He told her how much he loved her and how he didn't want to lose her. He told her that he would never stop trying to make her happy. She listened to him. She understood why he did what he did. She loved him too much to leave him. From that day on, they worked together to make ends meet. They sold their stuff and started living in a small apartment, but they were happy. They had each other and that was all that mattered. One day he came home from work and found his wife sitting on the couch. She was crying. He asked her what was wrong and she told him that she was pregnant. He was shocked. He didn't know what to do. Was she serious? A baby? How could this happen? He was scared. He didn't feel ready for a baby, but he knew that he had to be strong for her. He hugged her and told her that everything would be all right. He would take care of her and the baby. After the baby was born, he worked even harder. He had to provide for his family now. There was no other choice. He loved his wife and baby more than anything in the world. He would do anything for them. One day he came home and found his wife in the kitchen. She was cooking dinner and the baby was sleeping in a little bed next to the table. He went over to the couch and sat down. He was exhausted. He had been working all day and he just wanted to take a nap, but his wife stopped him. She told him that he needed to talk to the baby. He looked at the little bundle in the bed and smiled. He picked the baby up and started talking to him. He told him how much he loved him and how proud he was to be his father. The baby looked at him with innocent eyes and reached out for his face. He touched the little hand and felt a sense of responsibility. He knew that he had to take care of this little human being, no matter what. From that day on, he worked even harder. He had to provide for his family now. There was no other choice. He loved his wife and baby more than anything in the world. He would do anything for them. He worked overtime every day. He didn't have enough money to buy his son new clothes, but he didn't care. He would go without food if it meant that his son would be happy. He wanted to see the joy on his little boy's face. That's what mattered. One day he came home and found his wife and son waiting for him. They had a big smile on their faces. He asked them what was wrong and his wife told him that his son had just taken his first steps. He was so proud. He picked his son up and hugged him. He couldn't believe how fast his little boy was growing up. He knew that he had to be there for him, no matter what. From that day on, he worked even harder. He wanted to give his son the best possible start in life. He wanted him to have everything that he never had. He was determined to make his son proud. Many years passed. The little boy grew up to be a smart and handsome young man. He graduated from college and got a good job. He made his parents proud.